should be going online now. Excellent. Apparently it's excellent. I don't know if it's actually excellent, but apparently it is. We can put this thing correct way up. Yes, you'll see I have made some changes to the colour scheme around that area, and it is beginning to really come together. Doesn't look like it's coming together up here, but believe me, it is. I've done a lot. More than you might think. So, it's time to fill this in. Because I have been waiting for this. There's also a new channel, which I'm going to... Hopefully in this stream, I think I can create the art a little bit. So, we will be using this in the profile picture. And although there are problems, I mean, the line art isn't exactly perfect if we look down here. I can kind of get away with that on a tiny picture. I think it'll either filter out or just not be noticeable at such a low resolution. Boop. 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 Yes, he's got a pink nose. Or she's got a pink nose? I don't know. Anyway, you'll see. It has got the green display. For legacy reasons. Paint. Oh, I'm using the wrong thing. I should really be using the G. That's the fill bucket, isn't it? And now I need to go back on the brush because I've messed that up completely. Anyway, it's filled in quite nicely. It looks kind of furry. I don't know how I've done that. How to even explain how I've done it. Right, so here's kind of an odd thing because that was originally just a big grey blob. And then when I tried to fill in all the bits around it, it did lead to some of this. And it's slightly inescapable. That I'm going to have to do some work to correct that. We also have some stuff here. That can all be orange underneath here. That doesn't have to be colour coordinated. Not on this layer. That's why I have different layers. Makes it a whole lot easier. We're going to have to, I think... Let's see where we are. Okay, so... I think if I just cover over that a little bit with grey. And then I can go... Cover that up with the brown. I think that works. Maybe cover that up with the brown if it's not done already. The line gets awfully thin there. So, knowing what the correct decision to make, that gets quite tricky there. I think I've done the correct decision though. You see, we have this silvery colour. We also have some brown which isn't correctly done. Stemming from that same old point I messed up. This, I have tried to kind of phase in the pink nose, you see, with the colour there, that kind of darker pink, and then we go to the orange. I've tried to do that because cats tend to have pink noses, and that is... I don't know, actually. I think it's a slightly lighter pink than the eyes. I was pretty sure I'd colour coordinated the same one, but actually now thinking about it again, I believe it is lighter because the noses cats have are not that light. I believe that's why I changed it. I can't remember, I have poor memory. So that's why I'm not sure if I did this or not. I was also doing a lot yesterday on this, because what you see today, most of it was done then. There we are. So apparently someone viewed for 4 minutes 32. And I didn't notice. Poor job of me. Oh dear. There we are. Is that showing up on the wrong side? You see, I don't know, maybe it's my LCD in here, but the colour brown tends to show on the other side of things where it's not really supposed to, where it's supposed to be white. Granted, it's not a CRT and it's not an OLED, so there's only so much I can do. And I need a pen display. I can't just say, well, I'm gonna use I'm gonna use an OLED, because I can't. I don't think there is any graphics tablets that are OLEDs, and if there are, they will be stupid expensive. More than I would be willing to spend on one. OLEDs are really nice displays though, because I have a television, but I find it quite surprising that, you know, you can get an OLED television in 4K and everything, but you still can't get, say, a 24-inch monitor that for any reasonable money. Like, even talking about spending £1,000, you can't really get OLED monitors for that kind of money. It's absolutely bizarre. And there are legitimate reasons why you would want one, because, as I say, if you're doing art like this, you do want those blacks to look black just for layering them up and stuff. The issue is, though, you want to do that when you're drawing. I guess if you're photoshopping and using Clip Studio maybe for editing photos, as you could, then it might make sense to just get a monitor, but you really need them to start putting them in graphics tablets. And I think when they do start, they won't end up on a 15-inch one like this. It'll end up being on like the 24, 28, whatever inch graphics tablets, which are just far too big for me to get a liking to. If I were to put one of them on this desk, I'd have to say goodbye to my wonderful... Yeah. I mean, that is an actual 90s keyboard. They take up space in themselves. But even with a smaller one, what to do? I mean, the good thing about this, though, look, I have a pen here. I can put it right down next to the webcam, and it has a nice ledge to support my pen. Why did keyboards ever get rid of that? Was it because Apple made a keyboard that everyone thought looked better? Because I can tell you now, I would rather have a pen ledge. Maybe it's just because no one's expected to choose pens anymore. I'm using a pen right now, though. Even though it's not a analog pen, it is still a pen. Now, I'm going to make my channel art about 4 times the size it needs to be. But there is megabyte limits, so I'll have to bear that in mind. So is this going to be... Yes, that is. I mean, as you'll see, as on the actual wet floor sign, this and this are exactly the same colour. I think I know how to do the wood grain though as well. I believe I've worked that out. I think I just need to use the right kind of lines on it. Like, just use a few lines here. Obviously quite thin lines that don't really mean anything. Maybe even use them brown. as opposed to black, because if I'm using a brown on the wood, it would be different shades of brown. I think I want a lighter brown though, because it would, or a lighter kind of beech, I believe they call it, style of wood, because it would just offset the rest of the colour quite nicely. If I used a darker colour, I don't think it would work. And among all that, it's not exactly like a really dark piece of design. There's darker places like that, but even that, in the grand scheme of things, is a fairly mid-tone. It's not really dark colour. There isn't a dark colour on here because it wasn't designed in such a way. I like bright colours. I guess I'm childish in that respect. And it really does show in my work. All of the pretty colours. I don't like the thin lines though. They get very awkward to deal with. Wait, has that filled in? That has filled in. Kind of. I'm seeing lines. My vision may be bad, but I can see where it's not quite sealed up, so probably best to just go over here. Now I need a big pen. So let's say about 22. Still not big enough. Like, I need to go properly big, you know, just run it along here. Hopefully, this way, if there is anything, like, just below the surface, it can pick it up. And that should help. I mean, I don't know. Now I think of it, I might have to update this at another time, because there isn't reflections or anything. It's just that. You see all the work I've put into this. And that's not just it, because I have gone around here to try and get the lines done. And that's wrong, that's all wrong. You see, that's another part of the, thing, because that's the different metal. So that affects how it looks. The way that metal comes in there, and the way the green is affected, it's all part of the original robot that I have tried to adapt into how this one looks with the kind of reskin. That's a very soft pen, and I do not like what I'm doing here. Anyway, I filled that in. Looks like I missed some bits. Mainly I think I've coloured it wrong. Oh dear. So that be the case, does it? I see I might have missed some things. Not completely, but some things here are in fact missed by my poor strategy planning. Whoops. Boop, 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 boop. On the upside, now I can see my vision more clearly. It's going to be easier. So we can run up to here. I'd just go over the green. It'll probably make things easier in the long run. We're going to pivot that, hopefully. There we are. It's coming out as something. I can already see the lines getting crispier. Come on. So that is the right colour for what I'm doing. Wow, I really cut some corners when I was tired. Average view duration. Is that my own view? Right, when I axe my own view, I think that's... yeah. Probably was my own view. Oh dear. That's meant to be green, so yeah. I do not want to eat into the other side here. At least the curve of this and the thickness of the lines, it's not the EV... sorry, my mind just crashed. It's not the most difficult thing to colour. There we go. That can go down there. Okay. So that will give me a nice fill zone here. And there's the paws. The mittens will have to be on the end, so I don't know what I'm going to do to separate the mittens from the rest of it. Maybe with a darker shade or something. I really don't know. Maybe I'll just do that with the shading. This I think is differently coloured. But it's like fully rendered there. Which is nice. And we want G, don't we? There we are. So you'll see I actually did do under here. I was worried there was something I was going to have to spend a load of time and effort doing, but here I can do it. Time to save to the DVD. Because that's where it happens to be saved initially. And then we have our two other backups. So that will have our pictures. You see, it's almost instant on that SSD. Pretty sure this is an SSD as well. But hey, I added a DVD drive, so I might as well make use of it. I can't speak either, apparently. Well, that looks like something that needs sealing up. That, yes, it does. It's not finished. I think this side is, but not that side. Now, the wood grain, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Have I got some overflow? Alright. That looks so perfectly crystal cut to the side. Oh dear, yes it is. And I say oh dear because I know it's just not gonna be right if I try and fill it. I prefer it to be like that, where maybe it is slightly messed up, but it just gets easier to fill, like without any line showing through, and you get a lovely fade. See, you don't want any line from underneath, you want just the colours. There's some line there. That will not do. My head is angry now. It will punish me. And that's why, because some of them are semi-transparent. No, 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 no. I don't want that. Well, there's plenty of work to do. More than I suspected. At least if I use Fill Bucket. First he's going to say hi, I'm Phil, and he's going to do his job. So, Phil, it might be time. Pale tone. No, light greyish. We need to fill bucket something. That looks too close to the green there to be any kind of wood. That's not bad. Not the colour I'm looking for, but it's definitely getting there. In terms of kind of wood colours, maybe they'll go a bit yellowy on this one. No, ugh, that's vomit coloured. It's kind of a darker wood tone. It is correct, but it's a darker wood tone. Dull tone. You see, I feel like that, but if I could find the correct one, deep. Bright tone. That isn't even wood, that's so artificial. That is like skin of something. Anyway, here we go, and we will have this robot proudly declaring there is a wet floor to everyone. in his bright and own colourful way. You might wonder why I'm colouring the text the same colour. There is strategy to this. So, let me see. Whoops, missed that. But there is strategy to why it's all coloured the same colour. I think it does look better though. There we go. You know, I'm probably doing the long way to getting any easy thing done, but these have to be completely erased in order for my ploy to work. And then I can re-polish everything. It feels so bad though, like I'm undoing my own work. That isn't the case. It will, again, become clear enough later on why that isn't the case, but it really does feel like I'm undoing my own work. There we go. I've been here for a while. I was expecting this to just be like, I come here, I finish off, and then I'm done, but it isn't. It couldn't be that simple. There we go. It's still there though. The text is still there, just on a different layer. Yay! This is actually different text because I kind of had to redraw it. It wasn't quite drawn properly, and I only did that on one layer. You know, for obvious reasons, if I'm gonna go and erase loads of stuff, why bother keeping the underneath layer? I mean, I might do the same thing with that kitten paw, actually. There's just so much that needs finalising. It's kind of unbelievable. Nudge, nudge. Nudge, nudge. Boop. That's got some line on it. I'll probably redo that corner though, just a little. This cloth isn't doing as well as the glove, which always seem to disappear on me. Hence why I haven't got a glove. I don't know what's going on there. That's what's going on, I think. Okay, I think it's in my domain here. Mostly. It looks like that is actually something I can do right at this moment to sort out bit of problems. There we are. Try and cover up that white as well. It doesn't seem to be doing much for this side, or that side. So that's done a bit of a job of like polishing that off, at the very least. Now we're going to need some wood grain. I have got fine detail line art. Or detailer, actually. As I did mistype and never bothered to correct it. Since not many people are going to see it, so it don't matter too much. Why won't you let me draw, though? Is it because you're at the back? Is it because you're a vector layer? Oh dear. It could just modify the original line art, actually. Find it a layer. I know. I think I'll just work on the original line art. Standard colour set. And you won't let me add to that either, really? Honestly, I don't know what's going on with it. Oh, that's what's going on with it. Won't let me draw on something that's not visible. It's that simple. So I think I'm getting it now. Leave the pen on the same side. So I think we definitely need something like that. I mean, granted, this is probably going to be fake wood grain. It's not real. Nor would it be. I mean, it's on metal. That is unless wood grain is a name given to replicated stuff. I don't know what I've drawn. I probably don't want to know what I've drawn. Try and remember, and I mean, there's like spirals, isn't there? And they all go inside. There we go. I think that's the kind of thing I'm needing to go for. Try and curve these in such a way that it kind of works, sort of. Because that's a detail thingy. Again, given I have no idea how wood grain works, you'll have to forgive me if this looks awful. All it really has to do is look convincingly enough like wood, I think. So I think, again, if I just draw that around and out. No. There's like a certain pattern and I kind of got it by accident. So it goes in and out. Okay. I get it. There's kind of two layers. So we have the first one, it just goes in and out. And then that can go down again. Perhaps. Actually, yeah. Try and join the two. So I don't know. Look, I'm going to leave that there for now. Boop. So that can go like slightly back and down. And there we go. Who knew drawing wood grain would be such a pain? There we go. I very almost like messed that up before, beyond the point I could save it, but thankfully the points were there. The points were all there to save it and turn it into a nice piece of wood grain. I say nice, maybe that is a bit of an exaggeration. Come on, hopefully that all erases, because again it's vectors, they can be a bit unpredictable because of that. I may have made an accident. Oops. Okay, well, the anti-aliasing shouldn't be like that. It should be sharp and crisp. No wonder I'm not getting any erasing done. There we go. Does it look like wood grain? Possibly. It should, but have I made a mistake making it look somewhat like wood grain? Okay, and then that can go like down there again. Yeah, you do that then. Okay, that actually makes sense, because I'm just thinking, why doesn't this look right? I haven't got the third piece of the wood grain, which is a necessary piece for it to ever work. So, if I'm to get that in here, like so. There we are. Erase some of that perhaps, and some of that. No! You're going. And then I think you have like, you have the inner line should loop around and go to the outer line. And then that line now the outer line continues. I'm so lost. I drew it and I'm lost with what I drew. So the outer line goes there. Middle line goes round and back. Okay, so the outer line kind of needs to go on, doesn't it? It needs to... Alright, I'm going to just draw. That line is going to find a way of going up there. And these lines are going to destroy themselves in the process. But hopefully it will all reconstruct and make sense. This is... Yes, it is gradually making more sense now. Okay, so That is the lowest line. The lowest rung, basically, is the one that loops back, which would be this one. And that one, again, the thing's getting destroyed in the process, and I know that. I'm going to try and see what lines are like somewhat remaining and use them. So the lowest line is, in this case, doing exactly what it's meant to and looping back round. Because it goes to the lowest line, loops back round and becomes the midline. Loops back round and becomes the mid. Wait, I feel like I'm going to have a hatred for wood that I never knew of before this. I used to like wood. My desk's made of wood. This probably isn't a good sign. I mean, if I'm going to go insane and hate something... So it's a top line. The top line just goes around the whole thing. So bottom line, where are you? Yeah, that's not necessary. So that will become the midline. You know what? I think I've erased like 2 to 3 lines and done it how I wanted it to. But I was so confused about what lines to destroy, because if I did it wrong, it could have badly messed the whole thing up. Yeah, and that for such a wimpy little wood grain as well. I mean, it's not even a strong wood grain, it's like bargain bin wood grain. Would you like to cheat, yes or no? Of course, because it makes it work. There we go. So the lowest and mid tiers. What I'm going to do, that line somehow needs to attach to the top line here. So going to have to do a whole lot of erasing. Oh wait. Because of where that is positioned, that line can just go. And then this can hopefully loop back. I don't know if that was the midline or whatever. Yeah. Take it from me. Forgetting how to learn forgetting how to draw wood grain when you're in the middle of drawing wood grain is not a good idea. It's probably the worst time you could forget to learn wood grain. 50 minutes, and half of it has just been me bumbling around and making mistakes. So is that the top line? Or is that the bottom line? That I've kind of done in verse, I think, haven't I? No, the top lines are the bottom lines. I don't know. Okay, I think it works. Because reasons. So that's the top line. That's the top line, and if it's what I remember. Top line, okay. Look, just take your leave while you've still got the chance. Take the leave, or you'll end up stuck in one of my wood grain drawings. And that would not be a good fate for you, believe me now. Well, it kind of already is stuck in one of my wood grain drawings, but it will be intertwined in it a bit more. Oh dear, what have I done? Oh wait. There's like a walking stick to each one. Yes, if I do this correctly, I shall be hailed as the saviour of wood grain. At least in my head, that's how it works. Really, they'll probably still hate me for ruining wood grain's name. So I've got to hook it round. Okay. There we go. I have soiled the good name of wood grain. But it kind of worked. There we are. Oh dear. I didn't cant this up enough. There we go. So I think that works, but I kind of it feels like that was forced upwards almost, and very odd. Because just seeing that, why would I force that to no? Okay. Stream health is excellent, apparently. This is quite something. Weird purple wood grain. Maybe it's an odd poisonous wood that no one's ever discovered before. Yeah, that's probably the explanation. I mean, at least it's more interesting than just saying I drew it badly. Loop, loop, and loop. That would give me 3 lines. Well, they look like scratch marks, but I can turn them into wood grain. So again, the bottom goes round back into the middle. Round and back and into the middle. Mind you, I am drawing this without reference, so it's mostly guesswork. Okay. That's not quite curved around as I would like it to. No, that'll work. I can mould it into some shape I want. There we are. So where is the top and the bottom? That's the top. It goes bloop bloop. I've had an idea about where to take this. If we're able to curve this, because I'm just thinking how these lines hit and they shouldn't. So I want that to be about here. And then this can move over a little. There we go. I mean, that will give me the kind of, I don't know how to say it, but it'll give me the connection between the two separates. There we go. I have finally done the most painful part of the whole process. Wood. The wood. So I think if I get the right pen, I need to rotate this correct so I actually get the thing I'm trying to colour. The wood grain is on the top. I might have to do something with that later. Yeah, with it like over ones or something. But right now I am sick of wood grain. So I don't want to mess with it. The kitten's mittens are more important than wood grain at this moment. That should have been coloured in. Disgraceful. Well, at least my kitten hasn't lost his mittens. There we are. So I want to colour this as quick as I can, really. Just seeing it in its complete state. See my child being completed. Because ultimately that's what this is. This is my child. Not got any real children, so... You know. Who else? So you put so much time into forming the design. And you really know everything about it. It's crazy. Like, I'm sure I know things if this character was real they wouldn't even know about, because I've designed it that closely, that intricately. Humans aren't designed that way, they just have a bunch of off-the-shelf components. That's why a lot of humans are actually shared with other animals, because, you know, they just have eyes, they have noses and that. It's just like someone took a bunch of components and would say, right, I'm going to make a human with these ones. I mean, the only one that's in any way special is the brain compared to other animals. There we go. Paint. Phil, you have done an excellent job. Now, as much as I dislike the... As much as I do dislike the wood grain now that I have created and released on this world, I have to correct it. I can't just leave something undone like this, because what's done cannot be undone, only corrected. And I'm on the wrong thing. Colours. I did just notice that green sticking through there. You'll see, hopefully, that this is getting gradually more complete. There's a lot of this low down stuff though. I can go around the mittens and everything, and that's fine, because I weren't using a huge pen or anything. Okay, I'm going to go over those black pieces, see if that's still... It is actually still within the lines. There we go. Ooh, I see things. I see through to the background. That is unacceptable, but not for now. It's unacceptable for another time. I also see through to the background here. Remove that so I can get the best view. Well, it looks like it is for now, because I wasn't going to work on it, but then I saw another patch which I would have probably missed if I came back to it. So best to just avoid messing up this whole thing. Save. I've just remembered, I think I've saved, but I've not saved everywhere with the wood grain. So I'm going to need to save it to my pictures folder as well as to the DVD rewritable. Which, you know, worst case, someone takes over my PC, I can just eject a disc and stick it in another with Clip Studio and theoretically still have my work. Whoops. There we go. Now I'm going to try and go over all this background window kind of stuff that I don't like at all. And then paint over that part. Now, have I done this so well that it's actually kind of merging beautifully? Have to be extra sure. That looks tidier to me. It might not, but looks it. You can see where it comes out there. Like, I want it to be so you can take that away, and much like around this area, it still looks like a picture. Naturally, you can't do that so much with the edges, the very outer edges. And they are necessary to paint underneath the picture. Well, not so much underneath, I say, but if you want to paint the background a certain colour, they're kind of necessary. So, the wet floor sign needs to hold a wet floor sign. That's going to have to be yellow. How am I going to make the yellow stand out here? I mean, I think because of the bitweight I'm using, but OBS shows that as being a lot yellower than it's appearing on my graphics tablet. It's not that yellow on my graphics tablet. If I go a bit closer, it still looks yellow. That looks like luminescent wet floor sign yellow, but it isn't. It's more beige on here. Thing is, that's an ESO monitor, so I can only guess it's being compressed for YouTube. Because ESO does make good monitors. They're not like some cheap company. In fact, they're the exact opposite of a cheap company. They make expensive monitors. I mean, that's, I find, close to an OLED for colour. It's that good. So, it shouldn't be the monitor's fault. I wonder how long it's been going for. If I just click on live, it should tell me. Wow. Yeah, back into my normal time stream of things, it seems. And that's all because of that wood grain. Does make it look a bit more like wood, though, I must say. Even if it doesn't do a great job of it. Thing is, now I mention it, actually, if I move that back there, it does seem to fit in the background, though. So, I don't know what that makes of it, though. If that's under that, how can you still see those things? Unless that's partially transparent. It isn't partially transparent. Okay. That's all rather interesting. I'll put it just above the colour layer but below the line art layer, which is probably the right position for it to be in. Oh, I'm gonna have to do more, I've just realised. Luckily, I say luckily, luckily I'm not gonna have to do much, but I see this and it's something that really needs to be added. Okay, eyedropper, pen. There we go. It's just adding that bit of detail to make it look more lively. I can actually too. I'm really just trying to bring a bit of life back into the picture here, because I feel I've missed a few vital pieces of information that is better. The wood grain doesn't look particularly unnatural or anything, it's there, it's not really intrusive. There we are. Okay. Delete that, delete that. Wet Floor. Wet Floor, the movie. Oh, now I'm saving to the DVD drive. I did not think that through. It takes a lot of time. That's the issue with this. I should really get a flash drive and plug it in or something, but I have loads of DVD rewritables. And you can use them in the same way as you can a flash drive. So even if it take a little longer, it still gives me backup. Really, I'm going to do what I can and then I'll have what I have. Because I am going to move to my new channel. Regardless of what I get done on this stream. The picture is so close to being complete now that, you know, it's all just a few colours and lines away from being done. Thing is, at most I reckon I have another couple of hours in this, and then it will be ready and I guess ready to print, but print for myself. Not that it would ever be in a condition I would sell at this stage, because there's just so many imperfections, obvious imperfections. But this has always been a piece I'm doing for myself. There we are. I feel like little fingersies could be white, because they do have claws in them. But we don't want it to look menacing. Hey, if there's no music, I'll make my own. Oh dear. Right, I can live with this. I've coloured a bit on the wrong layer, but that wrong layer is the layer with the... That layer is the layer with these on. So basically, as long as I keep going on the other layer, nothing will be noticeable on the final result, so I don't care too much to redo that. It's like, it won't look as good, but it won't look as good for you as a viewer on YouTube. Not to anyone who will actually see the final PNG, bitmap, whatever, because no one will know. Seeing that picture, no one will know the difference. There we are. Ooh, am I seeing... Yes, I am. I'm seeing some nasty mess that needs to be erased. Thought you could get away from me, didn't you? Floor-chan colours, you are going to need... You're going to need some work, some serious work here, because... Namely, your background showing through. Now, we can't have your background showing through if we're to have you cleaning the floors around this place. It just won't work. The endless abyss of my mind, completely devoid from any inspiration, that is where you will be working. Is that going correctly? I think it is. So that is that. And I saved to the DVD drive again. I need to change that. It's not like it's hard or anything, honestly. The not communist ministry are not watching you 24 hours a day. I should write it down, because I have the not communist ministry in my version of Harry Potter, where they're basically pretending they're not communists and doing a very poor job of it. And it's the same old version of communism, you know. So much for us, nothing left for you. And I'm also going to have them not watching you 24 hours a day. I think the villain was Montana too, to make matters worse. And his parents narrowly avoided death because she wanted a sausage roll. Not written that in ages though, because I've got to kind of prioritise what I'm writing, get my stories in order, the ones that I want to write the most, and then kind of the smaller ones in the back of my head. Like, I have ideas for some of them, it's just they don't get put down because how will I ever find the time? This is taking its due time, I must say. That is finally getting to the stage where I can fill book at it. Again though, why did it take so long? And it's still missing pieces. I thought I got to the end for some reason, and I didn't. There we are. It's getting dark, actually. Oh. And there we go. Magic. Didn't even have to get up. Have I gone? Oh dear, no. Have gone backwards though, it seems. Counterproductive, I guess you could say. There we are. Fill bucket. So, wet floor. Is it really a wet floor though? How do I know you're not one of those animatronics that deceive me? You could well be. Would those eyes lie to you? Probably, but that's not of our concern right now. Didn't I colour that in? I was sure I'd coloured that in. Oh well, now it's coloured in. So, we're gonna have to fill in wet floor, like details here, where it says wet floor, but there has got to be something that's the right colour for the job. Now I don't want to go mad. I want a grey or something. Is that a grey? Kind of bluish grey? Well, the way I've gone with that purple. Pale tone. Purple, you know what, maybe. That might work. And it doesn't cross over with that either. Need to try moving through the ranks. That's a bit more pale. I think this one personally. Nice, decently strong colour. But it's not so strong, it's overwhelming for where it's positioned. Whoops. That was over the line. I would say it was a fine line of what I'm doing. That is not a fine line. It was a massive fat line and I'm going over it. That's not too important right now. What is? And then, yeah, we'll see that's not pretty. So that can go upside down, making it all the more easier to work on it. There we go. And fill you in. Wow. The wet floor sign, it's like, oh, that's the top of the F, isn't it? I was wondering what that was. I think on there, yeah, I have kind of got rid of them on there. But on here, they're still there. Just the in-between bits of the letters. And I don't want that. I can cut them off, but in their place, what will I put? Something has to hold the wooden sign together. Luckily, I'm doing a fun bit now. I actually kind of enjoy this. Should probably sit up a bit more. Would help. I'm not sure if it's just the chair sliding back under me. I also use this chair on the piano because I don't want to use a stool. I mean, I want back support when I need it. Just because no one else seems to agree with me doesn't mean I'm going to follow their way of doing things. They can take their world and I'll take mine. Well, road gets rocky along the way. It's been a long haul on the motorway. That's a very obscure King song from the 1970s. And if it gets too smooth, it's time to call it a day. I just wish I could sing. But hey, count your wishes and there's other things to wish for more important than that. Like, I don't know, immortality and the inability to age. The only two things I would ever wish for. What would I do with a third wish? I don't know, give it to someone else. Make me young again. Then you literally have everything you could possibly want from life. Well, I mean, for some people it would be a living nightmare. Guess it depends who you are and what your preferences are. I mean, some people enjoy pain, and if you're made to live forever, a part of that would probably be, if you're made to be like immortal and ageless, a lot of it would be that you probably can't take much pain either. Or you wouldn't really feel anything from it, because your body would have to get so good at healing from such extreme things in order to keep you alive no matter what. That stubbing your toe wouldn't hurt, so if you enjoy that kind of pain, yeah, it's not maybe going to be the best path. I mean, this should be my slogan on the new channel. It's never that simple. Because I managed to take a simple job and make it unnecessarily complex. Certain points might stand out. This, I think it looks good, yes. Naturally, having white there and then the background kind of white isn't going to work. This isn't painted, is it? No, it's G. I just realised that. I mean, that and that white initially won't look great, but when you put it on a background, say a black background, the vibrancy you get with this will really start to stand out, and it will really start to make sense. Yeah. I mean, there's that. There's a bit of black there, isn't there? Even background showing. Okay. I think I can colour that in. I can do that much. But as I say, no one's going to know. No one's going to know the difference, really, between that and... Well, there's not much difference there and there, is there? It's there, but besides the wood grain, no one's going to notice that bit of miscolouring I did in the corner. It's just not noticeable enough. See, that looks like... It looks more like wood with the, a lot more like wood with the wood grain on. But it makes it a bit harder to colour accurately, so I'm going to leave it off for the time being. And then... So the line art. Oh, I have cleared off the line art. By the looks of it. Wait, I'm lost. When did this happen? When did that even get down there? I don't know. Truth be told, should reflections be under... Yeah, they should all be under the line art. And then the paint and stuff should be on the bottom. Right, I'm going to save to the DVD and then I'm going to save to the other locations. And it'll say in one of those other locations. File, save as. DVD drive will cool off eventually. And just stop spinning. Oh, I see something. You are not meant to be sticking out there. Keep noticing these things. You see, looking at that though, you can still see the wood grain over it, and that's important. You're still supposed to be able to notice it's wood. If those colours blend exactly, then you run into problems. I mean, you can always make one layer a bit more transparent, like, I don't know, maybe put the fine details layer on top of everything else, make it semi-transparent, that would work, but it would work to an extent at least, to make things change how they're viewed, but you do not want the colours to match exactly. So we're going to go to colours, eyedropper paint. should remove them because they're not doing anything at the moment for the picture. I want them later though. Just not now. Yep, I think there's I think that subwoofer's on in the background. So it is. Not my subwoofer. My subwoofer would be a lot more powerful. But that is really not a game I want to play right now. Is that? No, that's not worked. I need to pivot the image. I hear a diesel. Is that diesel with music on? Probably to hide the diesel sound. Going to need do that, and do that, maybe. I thought that already had the purple, but it didn't. It already seems. If I just erase that, the colour layer just isn't there. Nothing is there. I think I can deal with it though. It's okay. And again, the lovely wood. Not really, it's the opposite of lovely. The messy wood. The messy woods. Sounds like some noddy evil place. Yeah, I mean, I think these toddler shows, they must live in a dictatorship because they send kids to jail for like really minor crimes. You jaywalked. You're literally going in jail for it. Well, I mean, I know it's illegal in America, but on an English show where it's not actually illegal. Or you dropped a piece of litter. You've now got a jail sentence for life. Bit of an overreaction, don't you think? How dare you disrespect a police officer? You will also go in jail for life. I mean, I don't know. America jaywalking laws, I can only guess it's either just one of those things they've done to make money out of people, or it's a bunch of crazy politicians are like, crossing the road where there's no lights is literally worse than murder. We have to do something about it. I'm guessing it's just about making money out of people, though. I mean, if they can get the police to go up to someone and charge them, I don't know, $50 because they walked across the road, then hey, it's going to pull loads of money into government. The fine varies depending on whether they like you or not, and whether they've had a good day. And if the tea was bitter or not. Oh no, sorry, that was an English rule. I don't think they have that in America. There we go. Kind of upside down, is it? No, it's the right way up. I think it was upside down. Bring a nice trickle of purple up there. It does look like I've used this colour before, but I don't think I have. Maybe it's because of a fairly consistent colour scheme. There we are. I think we might need to do some more filling. So this is slowly but surely getting completed. But it's so tricky. And what it is, what kills it for me, is not how long it's taking, but that I have to do the same thing over and over again. Because, you know, maybe I can do this. In fact, I know I can do it, but doing it over and over again, I'm likely to make more mistakes. Yeah, I don't want to stop, because I just know I'll have to come back to it and finish it some other day. That's where it hurts to be the only person with a vision, the only person who knows how to do it. Same with my writing, I'm the only person that knows what I want. Nobody else can do it. And as such, if I'm not willing to put the effort in, such a piece of art will never get created. There we are. Feared it crashed then. It just froze for a moment. Floor you. Let's put the wood grain on a moment. Yeah, it's beginning to build. That last U looks a bit easier as well. Just the way half the letter is cut away. Oh dear. That looks like it might be thinner than it appears initially. No, it's just, this kind of, it fades away. So you see some orange, some yellow, it fades. There we are. I think I might need a bigger pen, but then this is so good at getting in those finer details. So have we got that done? Oh, have I? Yeah, just checking that was done appropriately. I think it is now. Make this a little larger. Okay. It's not quite receiving enough information. I mean, I can only hope that'll fix itself. Because right now I am occupied. And here we have the easiest letter of the entire bunch. Top or bottom. Also, I think, yeah, there's only 3 letters on the top. That makes my job so much easier. Two, one, and then there we go. Fill that in. There we go, and fill. Oh, I said there's only 3 letters. Technically true, but there's also all these little bits of the other letters. Anyway, more work to do up here. That looks like a dead pixel, but it should be colourable. Oh, I think I know. Try erasing it on. Yeah. It's just a stray one. It's a stray pixel that went too far from home. But it's now been dealt with. That's not the right thing. No? I don't know. It's not too noticeable. Whatever that is, I can hear music or something. There we go. That kind of shoulder piece is now done. This should also be quite easy because, well, all I've got to do is just run along the line. I already did it for the bottom. I mean, it can't really be any harder here. Oh yeah, I didn't show you wood grain on the finished piece of wood. There it is. I mean, certainly from a first glance it does look like wood. Maybe if you really looked closely you'd notice the flaws, but it wasn't meant to be looked at like that. It kind of was, actually. Tell a lie. That's why I'm designing it with these pixel perfect lines. There was some I'd like to tidy up here if we get rid of a line art. I would like to clean them up, but again, for now, for the initial version 1, that's good. For version 1, that's good, and then after version 1, I can try and correct things, make them better. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about a bit of green leaking through there because I'm going to paint it that kind of pink anyway. Purpley pink. Right, so I think this was a time where it just wasn't filled in at all. Yeah, that was got rid of. So that's green, that's fine. There we go. So that is our initial jotter along there done. That is not something we should have coloured in. Oh, now I'm on an excellent connection again. I mean, that's something. Oh dear, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? I have fixed my problem. At least I perceive to have fixed my problem. There we go. For the size here to try and make it work. Okay, I'm seeing this now. And I don't want to see this, but I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the background. Now, we know full well, if you know me, if you can see the background, then I'm going to get angry at myself. Because I should not see the background. Under any circumstances. Well, those circumstances must be pretty dire for you to see the background. Okay, I'll show you the background. But that's where the background should remain. It is a floor that needs cleaning. Okay, now if I move the line art. Ah, there we go. I had to make sure of something. There we are. and that should just about be filling these smaller points down here. So if I go fill buckets, now these letters are definitely done. I've done a higher parts and the lower parts, which was always going to be a bit of a tricky part. But that's all done and dealt with now. I'm gonna have to eyedropper that and then fill it in. Or not fill it in because... oh no, it's okay. Just gotta sort my layers out and I will be there. Because I had that visible and it should not have been visible. It's interesting, I'm almost reverse drawing here. I'm going to do a little warning sign. I feel that would be a good thing to do. Now, is there anything else? That I should finish off, maybe? I feel like, in some way or another, doing this has kind of intertwined everything else that might have been unfinished otherwise. Like this, for example. It was exposed and eventually covered up. So, cover that up like so. There we go. It's very tightly cut there to the top, but I'm fine with that because it means it's easier to line up and just cut away at, chip away at. There we go. Now, how am I going to make sure this is actually done all the way along? Got a lovely fade here to the green. But you see, that's what I had to do when I wasn't sure what colours to actually do the wood with. I had to just use whatever colours were surrounding the wood, and it did work, as you can see. It has given me a nice fade. No line underneath there. So it's given me what I wanted ultimately. I think I can see some small improvements that can be done here. There we go. Don't want that to completely cross over the line, do we, though? Oh, you see, this is where it gets interesting. You've got to know. It gets territorial. The colours are fighting for territory here. Yeah. That's what happens when there's no lines. The colours just fight over who gets territory. In this case, it looks like beige won. But don't worry, I'm sure green will be back next time. So don't lose hope. Keep gambling. I make 90% of my money that way from the failures. Close enough. That's all I can say. I know it's not ideal, but like, we're talking such thin lines. It's a case of just how far do you think you can go? Not very far in my case, but well, I think I can go very far, but I can't. I said green would be back, didn't I? Green doesn't look like it's going to be back on this side. There is no green around these parts. Not since the dominant orange arm came along. Well, technically the breed of cat is red. It's called red, even though it is more of this orangey colour. I mean, I tried to make it as correct as I could to my reference, which was, as I say, the red cats. Is this going to actually do anything as I want it to? I think I've got a nice fade there. As I say though, such a thin line to draw on. And I do not like these thin lines for that exact reason. It makes everything so difficult. Because I could be that close to making the mistake that really does me in Fortunately for me, it does seem to thicken up a bit round there. Makes drawing the whole thing easier, but nonetheless, drawing this whole thing was never going to be that easy. And there's that. Now it's looking a lot sharper where I've cut it and such. It's only on the wet floor sign, which will help matters. And I ghosted the wrong element. Oh dear. There we go. Wet floors. Everybody must know about the wet floors. Hey, it does draw your attention at least better than the original. I mean, if this went past you in the game, you would look. I would say at least. Mainly because it looks so weird compared to any other robots. Thinking I should do something with Mapbot next. Mapbot is the other one that like everybody loves. It's like everyone loves Mapbot, but for all of the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. Hey, at least Mapbot isn't the psychopathic killer, and in this world, that's something to aim for. He's just a simple guy trying to feed his family and give out maps. Is that too much to ask? Yes, I've probably gone insane now. I should probably stop working, but I'm not going to. Not when it's this close to being finished. I'm also going to save when it's this close to being finished, because I know if I don't... Well, if I do and if I don't, I'll get some horrible crash. So I'll go on the pictures. There we are. Why did I do the last letter and then the first letter? My head. My head does not think properly. Probably, I think actually I might have done it based on ease of use, or I might have done it based on how perceivably easy we were, and now I've ended up on the hardest one. But I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it looks like very big lines, very straight lines overall, so I can just match it up like so. Curve that around there. No, don't curve that around there because that's terrible advice. I'm just bringing that down. I'm not sure how it's actually. It does line up actually quite well. Believe me, this is an uncomfortable orientation, but I kind of made it work. Just, it was there, so why not try at least? There we go. How should I paint that? Oh, how about that bright yellow, but instead of having the white in the middle, it's pink. I think that works. Because this pink is close enough to white that it matches up with the sign, and now you know what? I'm going to have to go all the way around there. There we go. So that gives me a nice presentation of the danger. We're going to need a very bright tone though. Strong tone. How about vivid tone? So that's one colour. Strong tone, vivid tone. They look the same to me. Probably because they are, I don't think it changed. You see, that's notably like a greener colour. Yeah, that vivid yellow. Actually, I think it's the, very similar to, at least, to the original Wet Floor Signs main body colour. But this is the better version, so it doesn't occupy that much of it. But it's a nice little nod to where it came from. I mean, hey, who else tries to turn a wet floor sign into a waifu? I mean, I know there's been the heart eyes done before. I'm not the first person to do it on one of these, I'll admit. Somebody else Well, I think they've done it before me. Maybe we saw like an early version of this and stole it, but I'm pretty sure they were out long before I had the idea of this. It's just I saw the heart eyes fitting, so that's why I've utilised that feature for my variation. Although this thing is largely custom, I mean the basic shape is the same, but there are little things. There's little things all around, like the cat nose and the ears, which are unique to this. You see, we've got that, we've got ears with the speakers down there instead of like up here. Bend my hand at an awkward angle because I know I'm able to draw for some reason, and actually at quite high speed. Phil has done his job, but there is still work to be done. This is very oddly satisfying. Here we go. The wet floor sign, I believe, is complete. That's upside down. I know. I am pleased with the result, to say the least. And we have to save it. So, save as, we've got that. I've also got my AMV files, which was for something else I was creating and still haven't got to doing anything with, really, as I have no idea what I'm doing. Then we've got to save as, and up it spins. I'll also save it as a bitmap. I'm not sure how big that will be, but this will be the basis for my channel stuff. I'm going to end the stream about here, and then our wet floor sign should be able to make it as my profile image. Just with some finalisation, probably a black background. So with that being said and done, I'm going to save it for now. Okay, and I'll say goodbye until another